This siloti transcription is one of the most beloved and famous transcriptions ever written. But not many people know the original Bach's piece. It's not a prelude in E minor from the well-tempered clavier, as many believe, but its predecessor, a small prelude in E minor, written by Bach in 1717 for his first son, Wilhelm Friedrich. This piece is also very beautiful, of course, although it had an educational purpose. You may notice a certain similarity between this pattern and some Hanon exercises like, or for example. So this piece was certainly composed by Bach in order to develop finger dexterity and strength of the beginner level musician. But how much more beautiful and profound this piece is in comparison to solely technical exercises that gained popularity in the 19th century, when piano suddenly became a concert instrument to amaze, to show off. One question that many people ask themselves is why Bach's melodies sound not just beautiful, not just nice to us, but also so profound. One of the reasons might be that Bach didn't just create beautiful melodies, but also has implied a symbolic meaning into his composition. One of the most famous is, of course, a BACH theme, also known as a cross motif. It has very deep religious connotations, as well as most of, if not every, Bach's symbols. So let's have a look at the motif of this prelude. If we would try to draw that in the air, thinking that higher note means going up, and lower note means going down, and so on, we would get this figure. It looks very much like the letter M, so that's why some researchers claim that this particular motif is connected with the image of God's mother, Virgin Mary. If you would just think about that, this simple melody stops being just a technical exercise or just a nice melody. Instead, it becomes a profound symbol of transcendental beauty, tenderness, but also grief and sorrow, which are essential for Virgin Mary. So for both of those pieces, for Bach's original as well as for Ziloti's transcription, it's very important to follow that musical line, providing a sufficient level of expressivity in the middle section of this motif, in the top section of it, so namely in that small turn. We would want to avoid the accent on the lower note played with the thumb. The thumb is very dangerous finger, it's very massive as an elephant, and actually I'm going to dedicate a special video to this finger that I'm going to release quite soon, so stay tuned. Instead, you may want to dive into the key with your thumb very gently. As you see, my finger goes right to the bottom of the key, but quite slowly. So does the second finger then. But then I apply slightly more weight for those third and fourth finger. It's easier to grasp this sensation if you would move your body at first and your elbow a little bit to the right while playing that. There is just one spot in the right hand that is a bit uncomfortable, like here. Like that distance. So most probably you won't be able to connect that with your fingers. And here we have two options, because in most of the cases we have more than one option. We may either take this E in the left hand, so instead of I may play Or if you can't reach that chord, you can just break it, as Ziloti suggests actually everywhere. Just make sure to mark this thumb gently in order to provide a decent level of polyphony between the chord and the thumb. Or another trick that is very universal for piano playing, we may use this technical difficulty in order to benefit our expressivity.
He's so expressive.
One of the most important aspects of masterful piano playing is an ability to feel and transmit musical tension between the notes. So whenever the distance between notes grows, so the musical tension does as well. Because why this climax sounds so amazing, so satisfying? Because we feel how the space goes wider. So if you would have a look at the melody, we have a pretty narrow distance between sounds. And then it expands even more. And then a huge leap between melody and figurations, then a huge leap in the melody, and then the melody gives up, but figurations go even higher. Applying rubato wisely and playing with time here and using an appropriate body language might help you to turn this difficulty into your advantage. So we may try to play with time a little bit here, like just taking a little bit of time here, for example. There is an established tradition to mark the middle voice when playing the piece for the second time. It's still very important to follow the phrasing, so I would apply slightly more tenuto on C sharp, because this harmony is more dense, more intensive. And then we have a resolution of the seventh chord. So this D would be a bit softer than previous notes. Make sure not to hold those shorter notes, especially by the wide chords like those ones. Because anyway you play that with pedal, and if you would try to hold them, to hold fifth finger for example, that would cause a lot of tension, a lot of stretch in the hand, and most probably it also wouldn't sound tender and soft enough. The right hand plays a beautiful pianissimo here. So here we would already give up a little bit on that expressivity of this melody that we have shown during the first repeat of this piece, and during the second repeat I would play that already much more restrained and much more flat. So in order to reach this subtle sound, I'm not working with fingers, because that would give us too much precision, too much articulation. Flattening the fingers a little bit and just transferring the weight from the finger to the finger might help you to reach this subtle and delicate sound. You might see in the Ziloti transcription he suggests breaking all those chords. But there are also a lot of versions when pianists don't break those chords, playing them in a more compact way. And that sounds also very nice, because it gives us some severity, some concentration. But when you have some wide chords like, It's difficult to take it. So what you might do is to play the part of that chord, for example, 3 sounds that you can reach with the hand, with the thumb, playing the last note slightly later and very, very softly, like somewhere between 2nd and 3rd 16th notes, for example. Like that, or maybe you would like to break some of those chords, like 2+2. Or also sounds very interesting. There's a small addition to this video available for patrons only. So if you would like to have a few more tips about topics I'm explaining on my channel, including this piece, consider becoming a patron. Have fun playing piano and see you next time.